Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Card is Going to Change. That's right, AIW's very own podcast. And my name is Alex Worldwide Keller, and I just want to tell you all about one of our great sponsors. That's right, Pollyanna DIY, PollyannaDIY.com, at Pollyanna DIY on Twitter, Instagram, and etc. And what Pollyanna DIY has to offer you, they have excellent original wrestling enamel pins, shirts, including the Extreme Roots 91 t-shirt. Checking my hair right now. I have some medium roots. Take care of that in a bit. That's right. They have it all. And wrestling promoters and wrestlers, if you're looking to get into the enamel pin game or t-shirts, Pollyanna DIY wants to hook it up. Now let's take it to the show. The reason you hit download, the card is going to change.
Hello once again, everybody. Thanks for listening to AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's episode, as always, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free each and every week. Firstly, thanks to Angelo's Pizza. They're feeding us here as they always do while we record, and they, of course, bring pizza to you at our live events at Mount Carmel. If you want to try more of their pizza or anything else on their menu, it's all delicious. Head to Angelo's on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And thanks to Smart Mark Video, they record all of our live events. And if you want to relive any of those or watch them for the first time, you can purchase that on DVD or digital download from smartmarkvideo.com. And additionally, head to powerbomb.tv, sign up using the code ABSOLUTE, and you will get a 20-day trial for free. And then stick around and just keep watching the shows that we put out there from the AIW archives. And as always, thanks to Jack Prince, who helps take care of all of our printing and graphic design needs. They can do all of that and more for you, whether it be banners, t-shirts, business cards, flyers, everything and anything. For all that they have to offer, head to jackprince.com.
JAKPrince.com.
Ah, yes, that voice right there making his triumphant return.
I'm back.
To the AIW podcast. None other than bartender / father, Nick Sanka. That makes it sound like a
spoiler alert.
Yeah, are you off maternity leave yet?
Yeah, it's my first day back.
Paternity leave when you're a dad with that stuff.
6 months in, I finally got out of the house.
Look at you. Yeah. Little I won't say your child's name over the podcast, but 6-month birthday. What do you call that? Half birthday, whatever?
Yes, sir.
Wow, just the other day. A couple weeks ago. My goodness. Also joining us on this podcast, the Duke is here.
What's up?
And
I don't have any babies or anything like that.
Do we call him the Duke, or do we call him by?
No, let's stick with the Duke.
What was the former name? What's the old name?
Boner Pete.
Boner Pete.
Not Boner Powder. Not Boner Powder Pete. Yeah. PC Lover.
Oh, PC Lover? All right, that's fine. Yeah.
I didn't know. Maybe we should call him PC Lover for this episode. Also, we have, as always, AIW owner John Thorne. My name is Steve Guy. I'm your moderator of sorts.
Couple OGs on the panel tonight.
Yeah, we've got some people who will be chiming in more than likely from afar, but the OGs, as Nick Sanka says, because on this episode, John Thorne put out essentially the bat signal. And boy, did you all respond. AIW's worst moments.
Well, this was actually Nick Sanka's idea today.
Why, Nick Sanka?
Well, I texted Thorne while I was at work, and I said, when are you guys podcasting next? I want to get on the panel because I don't want to hear Dr. Dan anymore.
So to you, that was one of
you
the
don't
AIW's...
subscribe to the three letters?
No, I don't.
No? All right. Good man.
Was that one of AIW's worst
His
moments?
voice isn't
Dr.
very
Dan?
audible either.
Who do you like better on the podcast, Duke or Dr. Dan?
Oh, Duke, for sure.
It's bartender Nick Sanka right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Duke gets at least one more rating than Dr. Dan.
5-star review it.
Yeah. Nick Sanka, did you 5-star review yet?
I don't. I use the little Google thing when you Google it and it just pops right up.
Oh, like the actual website.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, Nick Senka's on here because he's been around really since the beginning.
This is day one.
Duke
You were
has
at the
been-
first show, weren't you?
I was at a few of your shows. Where did you guys run before? What was your 21st birthday party?
Oh, that was CCW.
Yeah, I was at that one. I think that was the first one.
And you went to some EFW shows at Roller World, too.
Yeah, that was like when I was like 12. And we weren't even friends then.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you said day one, and I think that's a perfect segue to start with, because this was mentioned by multiple people. Absolution day one. When you guys hear that, what does that mean?
I mean, it's a very bad day.
Absolution number 1, day 1.
At that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, that's something that nowadays you don't hear. I mean, we're upon absolution, but you don't hear multiple days. Why would you say absolution day one? What's happening there?
Because back in the day, they used to run Absolution on Sunday, which I think stopped after 7 or 8, maybe. I don't remember. And, I mean, obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the grand plan of Absolution was because they had run shows for a year or whatever, and they wanted to have this big show, and it was going to be, and I know you've mentioned it before, it was going to be Dusty and
Jerry
Lawler in the main event, and so they wanted to try to tie it into like some weekend, kind of like what they do now with J-Lit, where they wanted to have this weekend event, and it didn't really pan out that way. But because neither Dusty Rhodes or Jerry Lawler showed up, and
Were they booked?
No,
they tried. I mean, they tried.
it was attempted, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Kamala was booked.
the portfolio wasn't really humming like it is these days.
No,
back
well,
then,
yeah.
You know, I think I'm 22 at this point. you know.
Okay.
The collective age in AIW is like the Duke would probably bump the average up
Yeah,
to 24.
I'm always busting that bell curve. Yeah.
He would bump the average up to 24 at the oldest. That's like it's everyone was probably way too young to be doing what we attempting to do what we wanted to do.
Sure.
And we failed miserably at it. Absolution Day 1 was, I talked about it, I don't know, podcasts ago, but like Duke said, we wanted to bring Jerry Lawler and Dusty Rhodes in, and the first day was going to be like Q&A session and like a seminar and and also mix in matches with other local talents and stuff like that. That all falls through.
All the local talent showed up, though.
However, we still had the date booked at the venue,
Okay.
so it turns into like the AIW Absolution Day 1 turns into the AIW tryout show, and I think it's like I don't know if it was
basically
free.
everybody. Yeah, it was. I think it was free, and like I said, all the local talent that was booked showed up. So it's just like somebody turned into matchmaker, and it was like
It's
okay,
it's an
you and
awful
you,
day.
you and you and you and you and you and you have a match, and it almost became like a Roman Coliseum type thing where all of the guys,
Actual roster members.
yeah, all the guys that had already had matches on Absolution and were already on the roster sat around the ring, and we had a live microphone that was over the PA, and we just basically just had people wrestle for our amusement, and it was just
Have
terrible.
any of those people made it in wrestling to some degree?
Yeah, Michael Tarver. He joined the
right.
Nexus.
yeah.
That's probably it.
Tyrone Evans, yeah, Michael Tarver, yeah, he was there.
That's probably the only one. Dave the Potato reminded me that if anybody could track down a physical copy of Absolution 1 on DVD, that there are Easter eggs of this event hidden inside of the DVD. Like you'll see a little logo
I
pop
have it.
up.
I know I have it.
Yeah, you'll see a logo pop up, and if you hit the enter button, it will take you to hidden content from this show.
It was taped. That is very true. It was taped.
I don't know what those tapes are probably long gone at this point, but the things that I remember from it are Super Oprah was on the show and she gave birth to a live human in the middle of the ring.
Yes.
Yeah, these two guys wrestled and it was so bad that the alarm was hit, and myself, Vincent Nothing, and Christian Faith came out and beat the shit out of him for real.
It was, yeah. Was it Vince that literally almost killed the guy with a chair?
Yeah.
Was it TV?
Thomas Von Erich?
Yeah.
And a guy that was dressed like Michael Myers.
Yeah. He almost killed. It was so brutal. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. So I don't. It's just an overall awful experience.
It was an idea that went awry.
And
very quickly.
this is one of the few AIW events, like in quotes, that was never released on video, rightfully so.
Except for the Easter eggs.
The Easter eggs, yeah, that's it. And God knows who can, find a copy of Absolution 1 on DVD.
I've got it. I'll check it out.
Yeah. So you say it's one of the few that has not been released on video. Another show that didn't make it to video that people really want us to talk about.
Only the people that were there, because they're the only ones that know what happened.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's fair.
The 6 fans didn't actually. I'm not sure if they're still alive.
We joke and talk about the AIW territory. At one point, the territory expanded to Michigan.
We had quite a presence in Michigan for a little while. We ran 3 shows up in Michigan.
What area? Like Detroit?
Taylor? Yeah, right outside, about 10 minutes south of Detroit, is a city called Taylor, and they've actually got a couple of wrestling companies there.
Okay.
And I don't even know how the hell
How
we got hooked up there.
Well,
but
how we got hooked up there is when WrestleMania 23 was in Detroit, we decided to run WrestleMania weekend.
right, and it was just
We just went and found.
we went after them.
We went.
Okay,
we
okay.
went.
The Taylor, Michigan shows were decent shows, though.
The
So
first
you were there, Nick Sanka.
Oh, was that all?
the first Taylor show.
Nick
went on
Nick,
tour.
Nick Stanko was actually on the street team for it.
Yeah.
Him and Chandler Biggins would go around 8 Mile hanging up posters.
We did. Liquor store, gun store, strip club.
There you go.
Liquor store, gun store, strip club.
You guys you couldn't even get into half those places at that time.
No, but we did go up there a few times on our own, just as flyer.
Yeah, the first show was WrestleMania weekend. It was the draw, quote unquote. It was Jake the Snake, who was still battling his demons at the time, so he was a bit of a washout. But the show was pretty good. The second show was the Honky Tonk Man.
No, the second show was this show.
I thought the second show was Honky Tonk
No,
Man.
the last one was
Oh, and then,
Honky Tonk Man.
I mean, we had a bar that sponsored us and had after parties, sent party buses to our hotel to pick us up.
Totally off topic. The guy that set that up,
Yeah.
from that bar,
Cecil's.
That's it.
I wasn't allowed in that bar.
Yeah, you weren't allowed in.
Me and Shima.
Yeah, you DJZ weren't allowed in. The manager just hit me up on Facebook like 2 weeks ago.
Holy shit.
Saying he's been following AIW ever since.
Dude, that after party was one of the best after parties we've ever had. The first who was the guy? Elix Skipper was on the show. Fucking coolest dude you could imagine. He was so nice. Matt Morgan was on the one show. All he did was smoke cigarettes all the time and was
Hawk
miserable. Yeah, he was a prick.
Hawking loogies on people.
Yeah, and but those after parties were great. The shows are great, but then I guess apparently a fan must have been at the first show.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens here
Hold on a
is
second. I disagree with the after parties being that good because I had some pretty successful.
You weren't
after
allowed
parties.
in.
I was at the hotel with the Hooters staff.
he made his own after party with the
I
Hooters staff.
understand that, but the whole thing.
I wasn't
Dude,
there,
we
so I
we
had
got
some
we got
sweet-
we got rides. We got limo rides to and from the bar back
Nick's
in the hotel,
18-year-old
man.
Hooters.
Nick Sanka invented the after party
Yes,
because
There you
him and
go.
Shima couldn't get in.
and I invited a guy named Taco.
Sounds like a smart move.
Yeah, Taco got his wallet stolen.
So anyway, the fan.
Oh yeah, so the WrestleMania weekend show goes pretty well. It draws like 400 or 500 people. Very successful. This bar, we hook up with this bar. They want us to come back to Michigan. They give us money and stuff. But also, there's this fan there, this local guy in Michigan named Doug, and Doug. I don't know how we come into contact with Doug, but somehow we were in contact with Doug, and Doug works with the Taylor, Michigan chapter of the JCs, like whatever that community group is, the JCs, you know what I mean? Like JA.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, but yeah.
they're like in every city.
Yeah.
What
And
is that? We don't know what that stands for.
it's like
JAYCEE. I mean, it's the
like,
JCs.
it's in every community. I don't know what it is though. It's some kind of, it's like an Elks Lodge or something.
Oh, okay.
But like, they do like, charitable events and stuff like that.
Sure.
So this guy contacts us, and he wants to do a JC's benefit, and it's a bought show. They're gonna give us
at a local high school.
Yeah, and they're gonna give us money, and then obviously, as we talked about, this bar really wants to roll out the red carpet again. This bar, by the way, is if you listen to the last Chandler Biggins podcast ever with Tom Dunn, this is the bar that caused the heat between Chandler and Tom Dunn, because this is where he got this manager that we just talked about to ID Tom Dunn and find out exactly what his age was.
That makes total sense.
But anyway, we go back. We go up there, and we have a bought show, and this Doug guy is responsible for promoting it. We just are supposed to show up and set up, and everything's going to be all good.
Okay.
His only stipulation is we book a Doink the Clown and a Nacho Libre impersonator.
From Jack Black?
No. I mean, there was a
based on that.
It was a tag team in Michigan that we had to book, and they had a team, but then they also did. They also did this.
They Charles Wrighted it, if you will.
So he wanted you specifically to book that team doing that. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And how did that go?
We walked in. There was no one there when we got there. We set the ring up. There was still no one there.
Well, I mean, no one's going to be there when we're setting up. But,
you're not letting me continually say there's no one there as the day progresses. We get to we're talking about matches. There's no one there
because my memory is kind of fuzzy on this. I remember the highlights, but I don't remember.
They had chairs set up. I think there couldn't have been more than
a ton of bleachers.
There couldn't have been more than
know by experience.
Well, because it was a high school gym. There could have been more than 10 people there.
We have we go in though with a legitimate
we're
advertised card. There's flyers. There's things online. I wish that I had access to MySpace to find all this shit.
In the back. I know you and I had this conversation, and maybe other people. We're like, what do we do? Should we just pull the plug? Should we just shut it down and just go? And we're like, everybody's here. Everybody came up.
Yeah, because I was somewhat embarrassed of the whole situation.
Yeah.
Because here, we're coming in and we're thinking, we're getting treated like kings, and we're just walking into this payday, and it's going to be a nice fun time. Like I said, we're all young at this point. 22 years old probably still at this time. So
19.
Yeah, he said Nick Sanka's 19.
Not even able to be bartender Nick Sanka.
Him and DJ Z not allowed in any of the bars.
Car parker Nick Sanka at that point.
And hanger-oner Nick Sanka.
And so I'm looking at this fucking Doug guy. What the fuck, Doug? And,
that was pretty much the other part of the conversation was, and he kept coming back. He's like, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. And finally, I think you or somebody broke him down verbally, and he admitted that he did no work and didn't do anything to promote the show.
It's probably me because I was fucking pissed.
And so in the back, all of us are just like,
I was especially angry in these days.
Off topic, Doug was a hell of a fucking rollerblader.
Oh yeah,
he used to rip around all the shows with his K2s.
But before we go on, that rollerblading thing, at Absolution 3, that'll be another thing that we have to discuss on this. Chandler texts me, I think maybe, and he goes, this fucking Doug Michigan guy is down here, and he's fucking rollerblading around when we're setting up the ring. I don't know where the fuck he came from. He won't get off his fucking rollerblades.
I do remember that. And this was after
the show.
He actually had the balls to show his face again.
Not only his
face. At one of our shows.
Not only his face, he showed up on rollerblades. The whole night.
In case you guys were still pissed, he had to make a quick escape.
Oh, I was pissed.
So all of us in the back are just like,
he's doing fucking toe tips or whatever.
We're just like,
he was on the inner circle of the skate park.
Reverse porn stars on the fucking rails.
Yeah. He was rollerblading the fuck out of mulberries in the flats.
We're just like, fuck it. Let's go let's go have a show. Let's just fucking be ridiculous.
I was against this. I just want
he wanted us to just pull the plug and get out of there because it was let's just tear the ring down. Let's leave early. We've already got hotel rooms. We've already got everybody came up here. Let's just go have fun. And everyone in the back is just like, no, man, fuck it. We're here. Let's do a show for us. And let's just fuck around.
It wasn't for me. I want to say that.
Yeah.
I think it was Doink the Clown that honestly said.
It might have been.
There's people that paid. We got to go out.
Well, that's a different angle. That's the show must go on angle that none of us had.
Right.
We were all just like, let's just fucking go be stupid and have fun.
You guys are early on in the careers.
And I just want to say that my like motto in life was to never have Doink the Clown on an AIW show, and there he was walking around with a super soaker backstage.
But that was But the best part, well, not it was the best part. Well, you want to talk about your match that you had, bartender Nick Sanka?
Yeah,
well,
of course you wrestled.
Talk about it.
I had a bag full of hockey gear. And my character was Jimmy the Puck.
Did you just come up with this, or did you show up with a gimmick in mind?
I think
you just came prepared, huh?
Yeah, I just came prepared.
Probably had hockey stuff in your car.
Supposed to have their bag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just had it with me. I was managed by Pedro, and I wrestled Chandler Biggins, who was managed by DJ Z.
What was the stipulation?
And it was first to 100 kendo stick shots. That was the stipulation of the match.
How long did this take?
I don't think we got there.
There was live commentary and there was a count going on, and they were fighting up and down the bleachers.
Hold on, before we even continue this, did Pedro come out like shirtless with just like a bow tie on or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
probably.
So
it was fucking weird. This is my worst nightmare of wrestling.
So Biggins cut that stipulation very short because I was hitting him too stiff.
Yeah, I think it went down to 50. I think during the match. I think
didn't you guys do a big bleacher?
Yeah,
they went up and down the bleachers.
No, I went down all of them.
I mean, you walked up them.
We walked up them, and I took a tumble down every empty bleacher.
You didn't think Biggins was going to do that, did you?
No, but I took a tumble down every single empty bleacher to the bottom. And our match ended with actually Tom Dunn pinning me. I think
that makes sense. That makes total sense.
So the referee won the match
for this show.
Yeah,
but the pinning wasn't.
And Steve
the
Guy
win was supposed to be about how many times he got hit.
I told you the stipulation went to the wayside.
Steve Guy.
Biggins called an audible.
It's a fluid experience. It's a fluid show. You missed out because our ring announcer at the time, who was not you,
or Pedro apparently
became our champion.
This is when Pedro was just ring.
Yeah, Pedro was just
king of the ring crew. Pedro.
Yeah, our ring announcer won the absolute title that day.
This show is not canon.
No, it is not. It is not. But he beat literally every member of the roster with some sort of WWE finisher.
And I thought it was like a hip toss.
Yeah,
I think
hip toss.
No, it was. He gave me a stunner. He gave somebody a rock. He was just people would slide in and take a spot.
There was a lot of hip tosses.
There was a lot of hip tosses.
Was Roby there?
Yeah, Roby was there.
He was the one that was calling all the hip tosses.
Yeah, but you would just slide in and take a spot and slide in. I mean, it was it was ridiculous, but it was fun in hindsight, But
Thorne, did you wrestle on that show?
I don't think I did. I think I refused.
Yeah, I feel like you were probably too pissed off.
Do you remember DJ Z eating like a box of Captain Crunch?
Yeah, walking around the ring.
Yeah.
I remember that. And then I remember fabulous John McChesney coming out with a stripper who may or may not have been sexualized at the Taylor, Michigan show the time before.
Oh, they were. They were from the landing strip, I believe.
Yeah, but it was the same.
And that's legitimately the name of the place.
It was the same stripper who got banged in the bathroom backstage, and it smelled very bad. And that girl came back to...
She had a friend,
before or after that situation, did it smell very bad?
Well, no, this is the show before this happened.
Worse after.
Yeah, but
I mean the bathroom. Did it smell bad when she went in? Or
worse after.
Oh, worse after. It was bad. She definitely had a yeast infection. But... so there's just all kinds of fucking weird shit going on. Doink the Clown's out there with this fucking super soaker, wrestling Nacho Libre.
People.
Yes, doing fucking Doink the Clown gags. I don't remember a lot of else what happened.
I just remember the Chuck Roberts thing with everybody doing the finishers. I remember Nick and I think it was, or was it Hayes? I think it might have been Hayes and I wrestled Jerry as JT
Fuck
and
Patrick
I forget
Hayes.
somebody else. Well, I know. I don't want to get into that, but
I fought him in a Taco Bell parking lot one time.
What's up, everybody? Alex Worldwide Keller here to tell you all about at Thrift Store Jobber, Instagram, Etsy, eBay, and etc. And let us not forget, it's a doozy, Big Cartel. He's got a store, thriftstoreJobber.bigcartel.com, where you can check out all of his wares, and available at Absolution this year. He's got a new one. Pollyanna DIY hooked him up on a sweet little enamel pin. It is the late period NWA. Almost looks like the AWA if we're really being honest here, but it was the NWA logo, and you can let everybody know that you like it old school. And use promo code WORLDWIDE to get 10% off your order. Anything you get off Thrift Store Jobber, Instagram, Etsy, eBay, etc. And let us not forget Big Cartel. Worldwide!
So we go from shows that weren't on tape to shows that were mostly on tape. and this is fun because I assume, since we had Gary the cameraman on a more recent episode and you switch over to Smart Mark Video, that this show must have taken place before Smart Mark was on board, because no way Smart Mark makes the mistake of recording the entire show but not the main event.
This is the show from
Jocko's?
The World Never Ends, is something like that. At Jocko's.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
No. This is like
The World Is Not Enough.
The World Is Not Enough.
Yeah. James Bond phase, apparently.
Sure.
That was Biggins was big on the James Bond.
Yeah,
flicks.
I was gonna say that's a big. Got to be a big thing.
This takes place like 10 minutes from my parents' house in Broadview Heights.
Jocko's Sports Bar.
It's at a bar. Drew Cordero and I actually set this up. This is another bot show. I guess this is probably why we never get any bot shows, because they always fucking go bad.
You get those birthday parties these days.
Those birthday parties are great, but this is another bot show that myself in Denver, Colorado, the man, not the place, we set up. And it's in a bar in Broadview Heights. And, it's a pretty stacked card. This is before Callisto owed us $40. Callisto's on the card. Corey Graves is there. Colin Delaney. All kinds of guys are there. And then the main event. I don't even know how we stumble upon this main event. Somebody, I think, cancels. And the main event is Johnny Gargano versus Trick Davis. This is pretty much the show, coming up on the straw that breaks the camel's back on getting to Smart Mark Video. Okay. We go through a few trials and tribulations until we land on Smart Mark Video officially. But this is the show where one of our business partners at the time just decides that he's just gonna. This is it pretty much for him. He was in charge of all this stuff.
Would this be one of the fucking goofs?
Yeah, you could call him a goof, but this isn't. Okay. This isn't the. This isn't the set of goofs that Chandler Biggins would refer to. This is a whole other thing.
All right.
He decides that he's not gonna. He's just mad or whatever that he's not like a featured star.
Yeah, I don't remember what the deal was about the show. I don't know if it was late. I don't know why he was so upset.
It's about AIW's worst moments. Duke just puts his
hand
down his pants while we're recording. Jesus.
He's got a boner to
feeling
handle.
Up his boner.
It's like an itch. Sorry, man. Because I remember him being upset because we wrestled. He and I tagged on that show.
Dalton Castle was on the show.
Yeah, and he was pissed off. He was pissed off during our match. He was pissed off leading up to it and after it. And he was just, I don't know if he just said, if he just made a mistake and didn't have the battery charged for the main event, or if he literally just fucked it.
Did it on purpose. I don't know. So the batteries of the camera died literally as the main event is entering the ring.
Do you know this during, or you don't find out until after the show?
I know it during, but there's nothing we could do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you still got to have the match.
We can't, they die literally when, they're entering the ring, and we can't say, hold on. We have to wait a half hour to charge the batteries.
And cell phones aren't.
No, this is like the razor phone era. I don't even know iPhone 1 maybe. It just turns into a very stressful day. I believe this leads to him exiting the company after this.
Okay.
but
Through his choice?
his
all right.
I think it was like he was. My theory is he did all this on purpose.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I think he was a little mad that he wasn't a featured star, even though he was one of the owners.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to be like the champion or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, he leaves, and we're left without a main event. I believe this is the night where we're all kind of mad, but we have nothing to do, so we walked across the street to a bar, and the Duke serenaded Corey Graves with "Let's Get It On."
I don't think I serenaded Corey Graves with it, but I do remember it was a big hit with the Olsen twins. I know that.
And
much.
then we went to my parents' house, and we broke into their pool when they were sleeping, and I threw a party in their backyard without them
And
knowing.
at some future date, I don't remember what show it was, we actually had the match again.
Yeah, we had to retape the match.
So we could tape it for that DVD.
So you end up doing the match again. You retape it to put it
It's
on
like
that
Yeah,
DVD.
Yeah,
to
we-
add it to that DVD.
Does it come up as
it's a whole different venue.
it's a whole different venue.
Like
Yeah,
a
no,
dark
it's
match?
completely different.
No, it's just we just edited it on that DVD like it was the same
Does it
show.
end up on
It's wrestling
DVD
fans.
channels?
They probably didn't notice.
So we tape it. We moved to a new venue,
Right.
and then we open the show with this match.
With that match.
Johnny
Okay.
Gargano versus Trick Davis, and then we take that match and we just put it on the completion of the show before.
Yep.
And if you buy that DVD, that's why you're watching the show, and then all of a sudden it's a completely different venue.
All right. Fair enough.
They got to make it work, man.
I mean, AIW, I cannot believe has survived.
God bless Smart Mark Video.
It's been some downtime at AIW.
It's been a lot of downtime, like the whole first decade.
Well,
That was my favorite time.
Yeah, that's all my fucking real life friends' favorite time. Mainly because we up until recently we would do all you can drink beer for $10.
so I was going to say
You stopped that a long time. We didn't do that at Turner's, and we don't do that
up
at
until-
Mount Carmel. I mean,
yeah,
you
up
did it
until
at West Park.
up until Turner's.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was just going to say
That's the first 10 years, I
you're
think.
fortunate through all these issues that the fans
At least first 6 or 7.
Because when did we start going to Turner's? 2012?
I don't know. Yeah,
11,
maybe.
I was gonna say
I know that we did all you can drink beer through the West Park Party Center era,
And did we do it in Lakewood, did we?
and then we did it in Lakewood too.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was going to say you're fortunate the fans didn't really ever turn against you, but
Turn
that's
against
not true.
something.
What about this fan riot? And did it
Which
happen
one?
to coincide with?
There was a couple fan riots.
Did these all coincide with all you can drink beer?
Only 2 of them.
We have covered the Nightmare.
That was
Before
not all you can
Christmas.
drink beer.
We've covered that before. That had its own
That was
episode.
pitchers of beer.
which is
Paid
one of my
pitchers of beer.
That was pictures of beer.
I will forever have Chandler's
That's pictures of
voice in
Christmas
my
ale.
head talking about some guy doing a pee-pee dance.
Oh yeah, that was the former owner.
Yeah, hilarious. But
All you can drink beer is this is the riot that I think that you're referring to is when I was going to wrestle Haley Hatred and Nora's Barbed Wire. It's also doubles as my birthday party because it's the day of or before, right around my birthday.
Okay.
So I promote this as my birthday party.
yeah,
And $10 all you can drink beer. You know what I mean? For everybody, we would just buy kegs.
yeah, that seems cheap.
And for the duration of the show, you would buy a all you can drink wristband, and then before bartender Nick Sanka, there was bartender Nicholson, and I think there's
That was easy, though. You're just filling up cups.
I think it was Nicholson during that whole era.
Yeah, I kind of started there with him eventually.
Did your apprenticeship?
Yeah, my training. But before
Learn
then,
the ways of the
I was
bartender.
partaking in all you
certified?
can drink beer.
Yeah, and I don't know if people were all of age or not at this point, but nobody was checking,
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens, but right before my barbed wire match, I'm standing in the ring awaiting, like, I'm pretty scared at this point, and I look out and I see all of my friends fist fighting the crowd. Nick Sanka, right in the mix of it.
Yeah, back before I was bartending, per se, we would just come to the show, kind of like Wes Barkley, who was here a little bit ago, as non-wrestling fans who just wanted to-
Thorn Nation?
yeah, Meanest Nation.
Yeah.
We would just come to the show to watch Thorn fight in death matches, and we would get drunk and think we were invincible and try to start fights.
And there would be all kinds of kind of the same exact thing as the Barkley Nation. All kinds of hot girls, all kinds of like just young people that knew nothing about wrestling. This is why I'm so relatable to the Wes Barkley situation.
Yeah.
Because I was Wes Barkley to an extent at one point.
We'll get to that.
Because I experienced this, but this is why I'm trying to do these like PSAs to like the fans and stuff, because I know how this could quickly turn out to real life people that don't know the etiquette of wrestling fans.
Yeah.
But
in retrospect, your friends, your Meanies Nation, we were a little more off the rails.
Yeah, a little more probably.
It's a common theme on this podcast.
Do you ever like remember anybody that you punched?
I do. Actually, is he still the owner?
Yeah.
President
Matt Wadsworth caught a right from me that night in my drunken stupor. A lot of my own friends actually got punched in the face.
Was
as
he
well.
trying to break it up, or was he fighting?
Well, yeah, a bunch of people actually. Corey Graves, SJK, he came up to me, tried to hold me back.
I don't remember that picture that you posted.
Duke was there. He was trying to hold us back. There's photo proof of that.
Yeah.
He was the first man on the fucking scene.
And then I'm a peacemaker.
If you
what I do.
Biggins is in the thick of it. And also at this point, our friend John, known in the AIW old school world as Cock Lesnards,
Yes.
is running up to the barbed wire, grabbing it with both of his hands, stabbing himself, and Ultimate Warrior shaking it, going, "Let's see some fucking blood!" And then wiping the blood on himself, and then going into the thick of the fight and fighting people.
Fortunately, he's
with his
not
shirt
around
off.
anymore.
Yeah, shirt off, made himself bleed, war paints himself up, and just dives right back into the
Make
fucking.
some hangout appearances at Hooley House from time to time.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
Yeah, Worldwide gave him some
Some
extracurriculars one time.
Oh, that's all he needs.
Uh,
He needs a push. That's
does
what he's missing.
your match ever happen with Haley?
Yeah, so Haley Hatred tries to diffuse it. If you watch the match, I don't know if it's cut, if it's edited or not, but Haley Hatred gets on the mic and she's like, just like pretty much everyone feels about Wes Barkley backstage.
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, I'm glad to see all John Thorne's drunk friends showed up tonight," and that just fucking riles everybody up even more. And then there's a picture I posted on the AIW Instagram a couple weeks ago. It is this guy that used to dress like a cowboy, and our friend Jeremy is got him in a headlock, and then this is moments before everything explodes.
So we've talked about the Nightmare Before Christmas, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that's fans start throwing chairs in the ring,
That's Nick Sanka's brother.
as we've talked about. Yeah.
It always comes back to us.
You had this riot, but is there another one? Am I missing one?
There was one that was AIW fans start throwing chairs, like the ECW thing, and
Another chair throwing incident.
but they fill the ring.
They knocked out
They hit a guy right in the brainstem. I know we talked about this when Biggins was around.
Okay, I
TJ
remember
Dynamite.
this.
They
Yeah.
hit-
They hit a guy
TJ
right
Dynamite.
hit a guy right in the brainstem, and he has a seizure right in the ring. So yeah, that was bad.
That's a low moment.
Yeah. One of the original Young Studs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, TJ Dynamite and Eric Ryan were in that match. The original Young Studs.
Did he wrestle again after that, or he's like, I'm done?
I don't know if he wrestled for you guys. I mean, he still wrestles.
He
but,
floats in and out of the biz.
Okay.
One of those.
Well, one of our fun things we do now, we do all these birthday parties. We've done a bachelor party. We do Warped Tour. But also, people might remember Seven Hills Home Days.
I don't think anybody remembers that. No, I do.
Do they still have those?
Nick Sanka does, of course.
There was a second. I think at one point on this podcast, we did talk about the first ever Seven Hills Home Days. But it's the second Home Days.
Also, never released on video.
That's because I don't think there was actually a show. I mean, there was a couple of
happened?
matches.
Lewis Linden and Flip Kendrick debuted at this.
Was it?
And some stuff happens. The only things that I remember from this day are it was outside, where the year before we were in a gym.
Okay.
This year they put us outside in the carnival area. I remember one of the carnies telling me that he was the Undertaker and Kane's third brother.
I do remember that as well. Yes.
He was 5'2", so I guess the height skipped over him. And he continued to tell everyone that wanted to listen that he was the third brother of the Undertaker and Kane, and this is just where he landed in life.
I don't think he had a name.
Yeah, he didn't have he didn't give us what his birth name was. He was
Brimstone or something.
Yeah, he was just the third.
Fiery.
Yeah,
he was just the third brother.
All right.
Jim.
I know I wrestled on this. I remember that.
Did you get your match in? I don't remember.
Yeah, I wrestled the Cutthroat Crew. I think it maybe me and Ricky.
Okay. I don't remember if I did or not. I just know after about the third match in, the skies opened
and it starts raining.
It rained, and we had no cover. They didn't put us under like a gazebo pavilion or anything.
And I don't know what transpires from here. I know that there was like a girl involved that was like the other AIW owner at the time had like a thing for, and then like me and her were like had a thing going on, and he like caught wind of it. I don't know what happened.
I don't think about that. All I know is show wise.
No. I end up quitting this day. I quit AIW this day.
Okay.
Because something about this girl happens. There's an argument, and then I get extra mad because the rain happens, and then this is right after we purchased the AIW ring. It's getting rained on, and people were like fucking around. I don't remember what happened.
EC3 ran out, and him, and if I had to pick, I would guess Roby, but I'm not sure. Had like a 5-minute match in a driving rainstorm, just for shits and giggles out there.
Probably sounds right.
We're all just standing under pavilion, wondering why the ring isn't under there. Number one, and number two, we're like, well, this isn't going to stop. So what the fuck do we do? Next thing you turn around, and Hutter's out there doing rock bottoms in the middle of a rainstorm.
Do you remember anything from the show?
No, I just remembered that I was only at the indoor show. So.
Oh yeah, this is a different one. This is the second year. But this is like this show is the beginning of like the dissension amongst the AIW management.
Okay.
And like I said, it had something to do with some girl that was there. I can't really remember. And there's some sort of argument, and then also like the fucking around and the ring getting fucked up, and something else happened.
I believe we touched a little bit on that topic of that girl. If you go back and listen to the history of AIW,
I'm sure it's a different girl. There's all sorts of girls back then, dude.
There's that. All right.
When did you come back to AIW after your quit?
Yeah. How long was your hiatus?
I don't
10
know.
minutes? 20 minutes?
I don't think it was that long.
A couple shows? Somebody bought you a beer?
No, it wasn't a couple shows. The only other time that I quit AIW was man, it was at like Gauntlet for the Gold 2, I think.
No, you know when you quit the night of the 50th show.
No.
Then too, huh?
I didn't quit that.
Yeah, you did. You didn't want to do the because I guess we'll just jump into it right now.
Because I know we talked about this, but we'll get into it again.
The people at Peabody's, there wasn't enough people at the show or something, and they were trying to hold you guys up for the money, like to pay us and do whatever else.
So what happened was former mysterious owner Michael Todd, we'll refer to him as, or Michael Kreese.
All right.
He sets this show up at Peabody's because he had some sort of relationship with them after we had already left Peabody's like a year or two earlier. Mm-hmm. It's the 50th show. He sets us up to come back. He also offers to pay a name for himself to wrestle, which is Shane Douglas. Something happens that day, and he calls me, and he shows up at my house, and he gives me $200, and he says he's not going to be there, and something came up, and that's it, and like Shane Douglas was more than $200. So then we get there, and it turns out that the deal that he had explained to us was not the deal, and like they were hitting us with all these hidden fees, and they gave us like $63.
Yeah, out of the whole gate, it was like he opens up the cash box, and there's like $60, and he's like, well, here you go.
This is why we won't run like quote unquote real venues.
Gotcha.
Because there's always hidden fees and there's always people dipping into the money and stuff like that.
And it's 50 a show, so it's a big deal. And the main event is Thorne, myself, and Fat Nick against the Latin Crime Syndicate in a Fans Bring the Weapons match.
Oh, God.
And so we're like, everybody brought a bunch of shit, and we're like, all right, what are we doing? What are we doing? And he's like, I'm not doing it. Fuck off. I'm not going out there. Fuck these guys. Fuck
I was
this.
pissed because it was like light tubes and
we're
shit.
like, fucker. Yeah, we're all pissed, but we still have to. You can't have 5 people go out there. You need 6.
Well,
and so we're like, should we ask somebody else? Should we,
because this show almost put AIW totally out of business.
Okay.
Because we had people to fly in. Like I said, we had Shane Douglas there. Drake Younger was there. I think he wrestles Corey Graves on that show. Drake Younger does.
I think so too.
Also, my birthday. All kinds of other drama going on with Chris Dickinson is there, and it's just like we have $63 to split amongst all of these people, and like I said, not a lot going on in the bank in the personal. I didn't even have a bank account at that time.
All cash in the ceiling.
Yeah, all cash.
Nothing for the Duke to look over at that point.
All cash.
There was no portfolio.
No portfolio at that time. So yeah, that almost
Spoiler alert, there still isn't.
Duke was 5 figures Duke at the time.
Yeah.
Not 6 figures.
I was not 6 figures back then. I was only 5.
So yeah, that turns into a whole thing, and then I actually decided to do the match, and then we just attempt to destroy the whole place.
Did you
that's what happened. It was like we all started in the ring, and we kind of fought around ringside. It's really tight in there, so it's kind of hard to do, but we did our best. Had some ladders and some light tubes and shit. And then him and was it Louis
Diamante?
Yeah, they disappear, and they went on a mission to break everything they possibly could in the bar.
Amps.
Yeah, amps and stuff like that. So yeah, that turns out to be a bad day. AIW literally almost goes under. Luckily, some people took some IOUs that day.
So I know
we've talked about that on the podcast before.
I think we wind this episode down. There's more to cover. This is going to have to go into 2 parts. There's just apparently so many terrible moments in AIW history. But
brother, we're not even scratching the surface.
So
15 years of stuff.
We're going to get into
14.
more of that in the next episode. But I want to end.
Well, not the next one, but we'll come back to this topic.
Sure, we'll come back. But I want to end this episode on this thought, because it sounds like in the early days, AIW could have benefited from some good publicity. Dare I say, somebody from the radio helping you out and being in your corner. And Chandler Biggins, big fan of a certain Cleveland radio show, really rolled out the red carpet for one radio personality.
Oh, this isn't like the lowest of lows, but this is pretty low. As far
it's low because it just there was zero payoff, and it just blew up in our face or their face, whatever. It was just fucking terrible.
It was so Biggins loves this local radio, is like a shock jock guy. Rover's Morning Glory.
And he's actually
syndicated
in some places.
Awful.
Yeah.
It's awful.
But he has this he kind of has this whack pack sort of thing like Howard Stern.
Right.
And this guy shows up, and Biggins marks the fuck out. The guy just shows up to buy a ticket.
One of the guys, not Rover, but one of the guys from the Jeff.
Right.
From the show.
And he's kind of like the whack pack kind of guy, the punchline.
And he's not all there.
Yeah. And Biggins, of course, rolls out the red carpet, lets him in for free, because Biggins is a gigantic fan of this. He's such a big fan of this radio show. He would go to when they had personal appearances throughout the town and stuff, and make Eric Ryan go with them, or beg other people to go with him to go get calendars and stuff.
Or talk about him all. Talk about that day if we were doing something, whatever he talked about. It's just
so. Anyway, this guy comes, and Biggins is like, let's make him a ring announcer. We're going to get all kinds of good publicity in the city. So Biggins sets up this thing. He has Veda Scott fucking valet this guy to the ring. He's got a turtleneck on.
Bedazzled jeans.
Yeah.
I was here for that. I was there for that.
Yeah. And Worldwide was there as he yells in the background. He was there. And he comes out to ring announce a tag match. And I just remember the Batiri were in it. And it might have been like the AIW tag team title match or something. And he calls them the Battery and like just botches everything. And like it's awful.
And you couldn't hear what he was saying because he's eating the microphone. He was trying to do like shtick when he went out there and was just shitting all over himself, you know.
He got shat on hard.
He's like a wannabe local wrestler too, right?
Yeah, he's like a backyard wrestler.
Yeah.
Apparently he might have just worked in Belinda's.
That doesn't surprise me at
We're
all.
recording a podcast here, brother.
It's just conversation to him.
What are you doing with those microphones, fellas?
And so anyway, Biggins was like, we got to get this on YouTube, man. We got to get this on YouTube. This is going to be huge. Like, because this guy's like popular on this radio show or whatever.
Yeah.
So like I get the fucking footage and I get it on YouTube right away. And like, Jeffrey like shows it to them on the radio on Monday morning, and they just proceed to just fucking rip AIW to shreds for 15 minutes on the radio. Like just the meanest fucking, like the worst publicity you could possibly ask for. Like, don't ever go, like basically telling everyone to never ever go to our show, for allowing Jeffrey, their guy, to ring announce and mess everything up. It just shows how.
I don't even think they knew that. I think it was just a passing knowledge of they didn't see.
No, they played it on the air.
No, I'm saying, but I don't think they saw anything they knew. So just to shit on him.
Oh, we got it the worst. We got it the worst. And that was a tense couple weeks between me and Biggins.
One of Benny.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think we end this particular episode on this note. You guys are going to have to come back eventually. We'll record another episode with
Next time bartender Nick Sanka gets out of the house.
Yeah, we'll talk about
I'll try.
Believe it or not, there are worse things that happened in AIW's history. We'll talk about those some other time. And that's going to do it here for bartender Nick Sanka, for the Duke, for John Thorne. My name's Steve Guy. We'll talk to you next week, everybody.